Do you have a choice where you work? Choosing a place that doesn't have sick, evil views? How much of a choice do you have of where you work? Population is high, jobs are sparse. My views are sadly rare and particular. Desire for freedom, anti-government, pro-gun, etc. Mum is getting Alfie neutered today. The reason I said yes to getting cats is now gone. The ability for me to raise cats in our hostile house is, as predicted, now heavily restricted by my brother Sam's actions. Last afternoon and evening, when the cats were led upstairs to play and exercise, Sam opened the bathroom window and kept opening. He still thinks he owns the house. The parents defend him. He kept opening it. This window Alfie can now climb out of on the first floor. There's a tiny perch ledge exterior windowsill, which, like the downstairs one that Sam also fucks with, gets slick during rain. Either way, Alfie can climb out the window when it's open, fall or jump, and then he's outside. I can't close the cats in my room when they come upstairs because they need their litter tray. They're not trained or do not know how to meow when they want to get to reach it, which is why I kept my bedroom door open when they were up here, which I now can't do because of the window. I close it, he opens it. I close it, he opens it. Same with lights, other windows, doors, my torch he tries to get at, even though it's my property. Tries to get the sound off my movies, that's a paranoia thing, and moves the placement of objects. When you move an object, he moves the object. I have had enough shit from him. I've had enough. I'm fed up with this. The stress of it all. I can't give of myself to him in any way anymore. I can't. When he asks something, the answer is going to be no. It's just too much bullshit. He's not reasonable. He has to decide if he wants to become reasonable and open to, what we need for the cats and what we need to be able to see, and keeping my dad's health going. With the stress and anxiety attacks of this, I spent an entire day in stress yesterday, caused by him, and I couldn't sleep an entire night either. I don't think people appreciate or want to know about this feeling in my chest and my stomach, this panic that is stopping me do stuff that is intolerable right now. So I've decided, and this is also bad because, Sam gets what he perceives that he wants, me out of the house so he can rule it over his parents, who are scared of him, and scared to stand up to him. That I want to try moving out again to a flat. I saw some, and a friend who's an estate agent might be helping me a little bit. And therefore I'd be alone in that flat, which, I'm expecting anyway, because it kind of happened in Bath in 2014, There was two of my good friends that I thought were going to be there for me when I lived in Bath, and they just weren't. So I'll be alone in a new flat if I move there. I don't want to be, it's just how it's going to be. But I'd visit family home on weekends, like Sundays, maybe even Thursdays. And, of course, I wouldn't be living with the new cats. I'd have to visit them too. Sam the Psycho would dominate the family house while I'm gone with an iron fist, ruling it, the things that don't belong to him, making it hell, and he'd probably attempt to take my emptied room for himself. Maybe I should give it to my dad for safekeeping. And I would move most of my stuff out to the new flat to try and live unmolested, or less molested, because there's always government and people and their ideas, and you don't know what your neighbourhood's going to be like. I live in local countryside flat, not city if I can avoid it, for 1 to 2 years. Try to eat less, pay my bills. I'd work in the family business that we'd have left over after August. I wouldn't work in Sam's days, he works in that one. I'd work there for as long as I can, alone or with my dad on my days, until it becomes bad, which I think it will. And at the same time I'd job hunt again locally, maybe at first for like 2 days of waitering or hotel cleaning shifts, I think. Something like. It's hard getting work anywhere around here, especially for, you know, males and light-skinned people because of the SJW bullshit. I noticed a lot of that in Bath. You know, all the people who were interviewing me in the high-up positions or whatever tended to be women. And turning me down, of course. Then I'd try expanding days, I guess, if I get on okay with a job, or trying different kinds of jobs, if I can get in. Of course, this all depends on if I can get interviews, and picking jobs that don't do COVID-19 bullshit or bossy stuff. Ideally, I would get this extra job. Taxes may follow. You know, I'm completely against taxes. I don't currently pay them because I'm under the threshold. But you get a flat, you'd have to pay council tax. I realised I've paid that kind before in past flats, unfortunately. The pluses of that, I guess, the bin men get paid to take away your bins and stuff. That's the only real plus I can think of at the moment. But it's, you know, I'd be fine living in a society where every individual person organised that for themselves, and it was free. You know, there was a lot more free places, unregulated, you know, proper dumping grounds, whatever. Energy bills may become high due to the government fuckery that's going on right now. I've heard other people's energy bills are too high. There's inflation and recession happening right now. It may rise food costs, make food scarce. But payments and food would be in my own hands. That's something I like. And I could monitor, you know, I could change up and down what I have food-wise. Getting the job to pay bills is not necessarily in my hands. I mean, I could do the work of trying to find a job and applying and stuff and presenting myself or whatever, but whether you get the job or not is not in my hands. You know, you can only do your best, and that you can't do more than your best, obviously, so people have to take that and they can still turn you down. But I should have my own space to spread out. 2 rooms, bit bigger area than what I have now, kitchen and toilet, like how I was living in Bath. Outdoors bit would be welcome bonus. Ideally it'd be quiet and away from main roads, but still near bus links, main road between the cities linking all the towns around here. I found a couple properties that look okay. One said that you'd have to commit to a 15-year contract even though the rent's good. That's a big commitment, especially when you don't know what's around the corner or what your job situation could turn into. My dad would be pissed off, but he doesn't get it. He sides with Sam during this shit, which doesn't make sense because Sam is against him and does a lot of this shit in the house to attack my dad. Because a lot of it's about smoke, and my dad smokes, and this is, it's not really about smoke, he just hates my dad. Mum will be pissed off, but she gets pissed off and acts angry and triggered by almost everything. I can't even talk to her normally. She gets offended even when I say close to nothing at all. Quietly as a mouse, mildly. And I hate being mild, but I equally hate people taking the mildest part of what I say on the spectrum as being something to get offended by. It means the person can't even handle normal me, let alone a happy or dialed up to 11, state of me. She also got cats, I think, partially as a ploy because she imagined it would somehow unite the house or the family, but that's not at all how it works. You're just bringing animals into a damaging environment where some sick fuck is opening and closing the doors and windows all the time, when all the doors should be open at all times, and only one low-to-ground window or cat flap should be open with a stool if it's the window, not the cat flap, so the cats can be trained to get in and out on their own. Fuck my brother for doing this. I wish I had brothers I could be proud of. Asshole. He doesn't have to do this fucking shit, but he chose to. And we can't raise the cats in such a harmful environment, so I'm taking the full hands-off approach. They are, after all, my mum's cats. She wanted and bought for like £500 each. I was able to pay a little bit of that for one of them. I had already moved my mind past the idea of getting cats. I love my cat Remy, who passed away. No one can replace her. I still grieve for her loss. When Mum asked to get some, I said my involvement would be conditional on getting a male and female kitten from different litters so they could breed. But she's got Alfie neutered now, so the agreement there is over. Also, me looking after kittens is a huge distraction from me having enough time to myself to do projects and seek solutions to my bad situation, which is what I was trying to do before she came up with that. It just complicates things. I have no problem taking responsibility for looking after the cats while I'm here, but how am I meant to do that if there's just some other person, hint hint, just throwing a spanner in the works and blocking me off from doing it? I can no longer take the cats upstairs here to get exercise because he started doing this. I can't just sit down and let Alfie and Misha, the new cats, roam wherever they want to roam, because they could just at any moment jump on the windowsill, break a leg, or just get outside. Getting out from the top floor, the first floor of the house. I also think about, and don't have money for, getting my first car. I'm 37, and cars are incredibly expensive, and for me, dangerous. I think I'd kill myself and passengers by driving one. Maybe I wouldn't, but I don't see how I could manage it. But it could possibly get me more places than busing, and on more timetable departures, and transporting goods or camping, but the costs are so high. Fuel is getting high. Globalists are trying to ban it, like cars. They want everyone on, electric by a certain year. It's part of the fucking Agenda 2030 Great Reset bullshit that all the governments are trying to follow. Parking is scarce. Getting a car is joining a new complicated kind of control game. Road tax is an unavoidable kind of tax. There's some women out there who the pervading behaviour is like if you were dating, they'd be wrongly obsessed with you as a man owning your own car. I think that's wrong. I think that's not necessary. I mean, maybe in America where everything's pushed apart and far away, you need to drive to get here and there maybe. But our public transport system is fine in the UK, and people shouldn't. That's wrong to, fixate on something like that as an important thing when you're, dating or trying to find love. It's not an important thing. It shouldn't matter. But then I could transport Dad to and from hospital if he had a problem, and if I didn't crash. So much shit to consider though. Most of all, cash and danger of death. I'm very sad about my lost interest of the hair transplant few surgery companies. I thought it could help me a lot. I'm very dubious now I found out about their disingenuous practices that might silence people who got failed surgery from them. I still think I want to get money, exercise, friends, job, girl, and a better life position though. But it's such an impossible seeming dream, as the world is now like a nightmare. I was many times in the past 2 years thinking about the idea of me dying. That everything was ending and the forces of order, not chaos, were prepared to kill me. Now my life has gone on longer. I'm stuck in this unrecognisable hell with nothing, but I have to live in it. How do I do that? Surely, you know, like, my dad's going to pass away at some point, and then my mum after that, and then Sam will take over this family house. He'll just take it over. It doesn't matter if his name's on the deeds or not. It doesn't matter if in the will, like, this house is split equally between me and my brothers. He'll still take it over. It's just the way he is obvious. He's like ruling by brute force, and you know, you do something, he'll just come in and change it immediately. You can't reason with him, you can't talk to him, so that shit is, I mean, it's evil. So is homelessness after that for me? I don't know. But yeah, just some bad thoughts there. I wrote down stuff I was thinking about. Obviously I was reading a bit of it there. How to make a vlog. It's good to use my second channel to exercise some of these thoughts. You know, flat hunting might not even be successful. Living here in this stress is unsustainable, as they say. It's like something that can't go on in the way it's going. I just can't do things normally, and I feel just this stress, bullshit in my chest. Just, you know, I cannot fucking operate while I know that jerk is just like watching and listening and waiting just to jump out and change something. Like a fucking spy or something. How do you live like that? How do you live with that? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like living like this. I don't like it. But why does he have to keep doing it? He has a choice. He has a choice to try and live in peace and help the people around him. Or not. And he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to.